which neighborhood's number one here in St. Augustine, St. Johns County, just outside of St. Augustine as well. We're going to compare 5 neighborhoods and make some predictions for where the best places to buy in 2024 just might be. And we're going to see generally the state of the market in each and be able to compare and contrast each and just see how they are all doing on their own and collectively. What's the health of the market here going into 2024? So the 5 neighborhoods we're looking at going from west to east, we are going to start over at the St. Johns River in Rivertown. We are going to go east and right along County Road 210. All these neighborhoods are pretty much on the 210 corridor, right where we're separating St. Augustine from St. John's. So we're at Rivertown, and then we're heading over to Shearwater, and then we're heading over to Beacon Lake and Beachwalk. And finally, we got the big 800-pound gorilla known as Nocatee. And we're going to look at all of these and see how each is performing and see who comes out on top, as well as, where might your best bet be for 2024 if you're looking to buy in this area. There are 4 main stats, I got them all written down here, that we're going to be looking at. And thankfully, I have actually put them together on some charts for you. So I will throw those up here beside me or above me or somewhere in the background while I'm talking about it. But there's 4 main stats we're going to look at for each neighborhood as we're comparing 2022 and 2023 and comparing each neighborhood. Those stats are the average price of a home. Then to drill down a little more, I think a little more accurately, we're going to look at the price per square foot of a home. And then we're going to look at the percentage of list price that a house actually sells for. So sellers are getting what percent of the price that they're listed at. And finally, we are going to look at how many days on market it takes a house to sell in each of these neighborhoods. So moving into each neighborhood, what was the average that a home buyer paid? This is looking at resales. We're not talking about new construction here today. This is looking at resales and the average price that someone paid for a home in Beacon Lake and I got my little notes here, in 2022 was $630,000. And that dropped in 2023 to $543,000. Now, again, we're going to look at price per foot. And just remember, average price of a home can be determined by a lot of things. Maybe a new section opens up where there's a lot smaller lot sizes and smaller homes. Then we would expect to see the average price to drop, but the actual price per foot could go up. We're going to get into those in just a minute. So Beacon Lake was $543,000. Let's just stick with 2023 right now, and then we'll look at the percentage of changes in each as we move on. In Shearwater, the average price that someone paid for a house moving into Shearwater was $552,000. So really close to Beacon Lake. Beachwalk was $605,000. It's definitely gone more upscale in 2023. Rivertown, right up there near Beachwalk, $590,000. I know there's been a lot more upscale and bigger homes and with Mastercraft and Toll and a lot of higher end builders moving in there. We're definitely seeing some prices go up. And then the 800-pound gorilla, the big bad Nocatee, just shy of $800,000, $790,000 was the average price that someone paid on a resale moving into Nocatee. Okay, so now let's narrow this down a little bit, look a little bit more accurately as we're comparing each neighborhood. We'll look at how much did someone pay per square foot. Now, just remember, typically a smaller home's going to have a larger price per foot and a larger home is going to have a lower price per foot. And you add in pools and lots and upgrades and all these other things. We're just trying to get an overarching average and look at some trends here. So if you're looking at Beacon Lake, the average price per foot was $256. And then pretty close, Shearwater, down a little bit, $249 a foot. Beachwalk right at $261. Rivertown at $252. And then Nocatee was at $300 a foot. And as we're going to see, That is a high number compared to the other neighborhoods, but it's actually down a good bit from what we were seeing in 2022. So speaking of percentages, let's take a look at each neighborhood now, and we're just going to look at how they compare from one year to the next. And again, this is just so we can see the trends and see which direction things are heading. And so you can put plans in place. And just as a quick note, if you are making some plans to buy here in St. Augustine, St. Johns County, and Jacksonville in this area, man, when's the best time to plant a tree? Well, 20 years ago, then second best is today. And so making some plans today, if you're going to build in April, you're going to build in May, you're going to build in 2028. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Now is the time to start having some conversations. And if you want to grab a 15-minute virtual cup of coffee and ask some questions directly, I am here to help you and just enjoy doing that as well. So fire me a text, give me a call, whatever. Let's keep moving on here. And we're looking at percentages, right? So looking at the overall price, well, let's not even talk that much about the average price of a home. We're going to skip right down and look at the price per foot, because I think that's a little bit more accurate, a little bit more, a little better at giving us an idea of what the market's actually doing. It kind of eliminates, not quite eliminates, but reduces the influence of pool homes and larger versus smaller and all that good stuff. So Beacon Lake saw a 1.2% drop in price from the average of 2022 through the average of 2023. All things being equal, that's not so bad. We thought maybe we're going to see a bigger dip than that. And we definitely felt a dip, but 1.2% in the scheme of things isn't too bad. And man, I can't wait to see where things go this year, but we'll talk about that at the end of the video. In Shearwater, there was a 2.2% drop in price. So Beachwalk, the exception here, snazzing it up a little bit. They actually had a 5% increase in price per square foot. So good job, Beachwalk. Looking at Rivertown, one thing that's interesting with Rivertown, I noticed that the median, or sort of the average price per home actually stayed exactly the same. It was flat from $590 to $590 from 2022 through 2023. So I thought that was definitely interesting, but the price per square foot did drop about 2.5%. And then looking at Nocatee, remember, it is the big $300 a foot. Well, in 2022, it was $309 a foot for resales on average. So it actually lost 2.8%. But when it comes to resales, when it comes to selling a house there, it is definitely still the king of the jungle at $300 a foot, significantly higher than all the other ones out there, with Beachwalk the closest in second place at $261 a foot. And why is that? Well, Nocatee is super special. If you're out there watching videos about St. Johns County and St. Augustine and Jacksonville and this whole area, you've got to come across Nocatee. And when you come across Nocatee, you see it's a very, very cool, special place. And it's getting close to being built out, which is nice. It's got a thriving commercial section where you can actually golf cart everywhere. You can golf cart to the grocery store through Wendy's and Panera. And you can go over the First Watch and have breakfast. There's a Neho, great Mexican place. It's a steakhouse coming in with a rooftop bar. There is so much going on in Nocatee, the water parks, the hiking trails, we talked about the golf cart paths, the pools. So much going on in Nocatee, and well deserving that higher price per foot, in my opinion. And yeah, man, if you're thinking about buying somewhere and you're looking down the road at resale, it's really hard to argue with Nocatee. You pay a little bit more now, but you should be getting a little bit more now, a little bit more later in the future as well. So if I was trying to think of the most, I don't want to say recession proof, but the neighborhood that's going to hold values the best, I think it's showing up that that's probably going to be Nocatee. Now, just looking at numbers, looks like, Beachwalk has had an increase in price per square foot, but I think that is maybe due to some other factors with the builders changing up some of the things that they're building. doing some of their duplex villa type things and putting some different products out there. So, but so if I want to take my bias out of it with Beachwalk and just look at the numbers, Beachwalk also looks like a good investment for the future if things trend and continue to go up. So two neighborhoods I compare a lot are Beachwalk and Shearwater. They're quite a bit different still. Shearwater's a bit bigger. Beachwalk arguably has a better location, being right by 95 and US 1, right in between those two, closer to St. Augustine, closer to get to the highway, although Shearwater is improving some of their access points, or got some new ways to get in and out of the neighborhood. That was a bit of a drawback for a while too. And they're widening the road out front to alleviate some of that crazy traffic that they have in the mornings and in the afternoon. One thing in common with these two neighborhoods, though, are they're both getting brand spanking new schools this year in 2024. St. John's County School OO is what it's called right now. That is, hopefully it's not uh-oh. It's OO in Beacon Lake. And then there's St. John's County School NN is being built in Shearwater right now. So those are both going to have impact. I think the big impact for Shearwater with the new school coming in is actually connected a little bit more to the entrances being widened up front, but then they're adding the entrances to 16A, just another way to get into the neighborhood off the backside of it. What before it was one way in, one way out. Now with the new schools, they have an entrance by the school, then another entrance on that same road, a little further from the school. So if you want to get out that way, you don't have to sit in school traffic for that. But really excited to have the school. They had the elementary school right out front of the neighborhood, and now they have a K-8 opening up in there, and going to have a huge impact, 100%. I expect that is going to drive some prices up. Not as much as in Beacon Lake. And let me explain. Beacon Lake doesn't have a school right out front like Shearwater had, even though it was just elementary. So they're both getting the K-8s. But the schools that Beacon Lake go to right now, as of through 2024 until the new 2024 year starts for 24-25, the schools they go to right now are Landrum for middle school and Ocean Palms for elementary school. Incredible schools, awesome schools, some of the best schools out there. That said, they're really far. And so you've got to go over a bridge, and you've got to go past Valley Ridge, and you go past Pine Island and Palm Valley and all these other schools. And you're like, what is going on? Why are my kids on the bus, my kindergartner on the bus, driving past all these schools to go across the Intracoastal Waterway over to Ponte Vedra Beach and going to school after I don't know if I've never timed it, but by car, it's a solid 20 minutes. So by bus, I imagine these kids could be sitting on the bus for 40 minutes. And so a lot of people looking at Beacon Lake have been like, I love the neighborhood. It looks incredible. I love the amenities. It's beautiful, but I don't want my kids to have to go that far to school. And so I'd say probably like 60-70% of my buyers that I've worked with that eliminated Beacon Lake, probably because of the school situation. Well, the incredible thing is that problem not only gets wiped out, it's also super attractive now, because there's something incredibly special about living in a neighborhood as a family and your kids hopping on a bike or getting in a golf cart or whatever that is, and riding to school, walking to school, and then coming home in the afternoon. I speak from experience on that. We lived in Greenleaf Village in Nocatee for 6 years when my kids were coming up through, they came up through elementary when the school opened, both of them all the way up through middle school, all of them into Nice High School. And it was just an incredible experience to have the kindergarten through grade 8 in the neighborhood. And I know a lot of families enjoy that. And I know that is going to be a big help for Beacon Lake this year. And some of these prices that depressed a bit, only down 1.2%. I expect that we're going to have a lot of demand in general across all the markets in the US, but especially here in St. Augustine. We're going to see a lot of demand because of interest rates. And as these buyers come off the sideline, we're going to see prices go up. They say every 1% interest rates drop, we get about 5 million more buyers. This is nationwide, enter the market as buyers. And so that creates competition, which of course creates price increases, and bounce a little bit as some of these buyers are also sellers as well. So they will list their homes and increase inventory too. But the net effect should be prices going up. All that said, so if you are looking to buy in St. Augustine, it's a pretty good time right now. So let's hop on a call, make that happen. But even down the road, we've got some good tailwinds. We've got some good headway. These stats were all based on resales. There's a lot of new construction going on right now, a lot of new construction with a lot of incentives over in Beachwalk. They've got one builder paying off the CDD fees. We talk about CDDs in another video. We've got in Beacon Lake, we've got a builder giving some special rates and giving some good discounts. There's some massive rate buy downs, like $50,000-$60,000 rate buy downs over in Nocatee right now as well. At the time of you watching this, the incentives are probably going to change. We actually will send out, we have a weekly email with the incentives for St. Johns County and St. Augustine in it. If you're interested in that, also reach out to me. I'll connect you on that and get you those emails. We didn't talk about Rivertown much. Rivertown's pretty cool too. I'm pretty bullish on Rivertown. I think that, we've seen we saw 2.5% drop. Gosh, I think Rivertown is a winner and I think it's going to go, up for a lot of the same reasons as, Beacon Lake and Shearwater. We've got some school building happening soon. And they've got a new amenity center open. Man, Rivertown has been incredible, like Nocatee, in keeping ahead of the crowds. And they're working on their third amenity center. It's going to be incredible. Lazy River, got to compete with Shearwater and Nocatee and all the big boys out there. And one of the previous cons, I guess, if you will, for some people, Rivertown was just kind of rural, kind of far out. So if you wanted a slice of pizza, it was a solid 15-minute drive. Well, you've got a gate gas station right there, which is awesome for those little trips you got to run out your tanks at like or it says you've got, I don't know, 1 or 2 miles left of range. You can get to the gas station and fill up without driving so far up to 10 or over to 13. Where's my train of thought? Oh yeah, big Publix grocery store. A lot of stuff has come to that area and is coming to that area. So it doesn't feel nearly as far out as it used to feel. So you get kind of a little bit of that rural, but then you have some convenience as well. So it's kind of hitting a sweet spot as well. And I think that Rivertown is going to see a lot of competition for homes coming up in 2024. Hope that helped. I know stats aren't everyone's cup of tea. Hopefully it was entertaining enough that you're able to hold on till the end. Hopefully there's some value there. If you want to see more content like this or more like neighborhood walkthroughs and drones and all that fun stuff, then hit like, subscribe. So I know you're watching and you guys are pushing me to get out there and make more content, and drop me a line if there's something that you want to see that you're not seeing right now.